Have you heard of the coffee nap?
No.
So you have like a cup of coffee or a shot of espresso, and then you take a nap. And the cool thing is, in 20 minutes, that's when the caffeine hits.
Kicks.
So you still get your
That's
nap,
fascinating.
but then when you wake up, you're getting even more of that. You're getting the
Oh,
boost.
wow.
So it's
I
kind
am
of,
going to remember this.
Deeply graphic design cast. Tune in, hold tight, make it last. Bold ideas, endless thoughts. Graphic minds connect the dots.
so how's everything been going? What's the latest and greatest? We haven't been on in a few, so
I
fill us in.
know.
What's going
And I
on?
appreciate the patience. We've been even telling friends, even though it's been summertime break,
Yeah.
hold on, I'll get in touch with you when school starts, because that's when the routine regimen kicks in, and it's
Oh, right.
easier
Yeah.
to, with a schedule maintained, to understand what can be calendared and what you can and can't do. I know it sounds kind of pathetic to
No,
say out.
it's logistically correct, right? Because then your schedule's ironclad, and like if there is a
Yeah.
break, it's
Yeah.
gonna stay a break, and
Yeah.
you can plan something. You know what I mean? Yeah.
The juggle is real over summertime, and parents, you don't really hear parents say, "Oh, it's going to be so nice. Can't wait till summer." Because
I know.
it sounds
And then
bad to say out loud, but
and then that whole reintroduction into the school time
yeah,
is such a blow to everybody,
it
right?
can
You're like,
be. It
oh,
really, I
I know.
know.
It's nuts. What week
My
are you
my
guys
son just
in?
started middle school, and so he's waking
Yeah.
up earlier, coming home earlier, more responsibilities, more newsletters and communication from various
Yes.
period teachers. I mean, it's quite the shift.
This is the first year of middle school. Yeah, isn't that crazy? That's that time where it's kind of like the first zone of adulthood,
Right. In a
because
way.
and responsibilities,
Uh-huh.
multiple teachers, multiple classes.
Which is enabling.
Yeah,
He's ready for that. He was checked out of that elementary feeling a long while
I
ago.
bet.
This is good, but as much as you look forward to it and you tell yourself you're ready, when that first couple weeks hit, you
Hmm.
can't fully project or be absolutely prepared.
Yeah.
So I mean, this is this is life. We can't
Y-
project how our presentation is
yes.
going to go. We can't project how any given deliverable is going to land after it evolves and sits with people's eyes for a good week or two. I mean,
Yeah.
so we were talking about schedule, and thankful that the regimen is back, and
Good.
that was just a split tangent from it taking so long for me to prepare this, which is 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 a great twofold benefit, in which I know the client will appreciate seeing this PDF
Beautiful.
presentation. I get to present it with you today, and it can be utilized as a PDF hosted from our websites to
Yes.
showcase the process. Even though no two are ever the same, of course, but the general feel, having seen start and finish for giant phase one, knowing that brands
Nice.
evolve, websites evolve, and there are light touches and maintenance along the way. You brought us the delight of the Billy concept coming to
Yeah.
life. And that was fascinating and super fun. Beyond the brand identity, this is now on cars. It has its website, and it has to be user portal access friendly for students and parents to get in, log in, and calendar students for lessons and what have you. So I'm mentioning that because this is for an MKM client called On Target, and it's a driving school, and it's somewhat local. It's within Washington State, but way south of here.
Gotcha.
So um, I that can be cool, because someday I may see one of the
Oh
vehicles.
yeah. Isn't that wild?
Usually it's never that way. I mean, we're launching a site. We're going live this evening for a global product. It's worldwide, and that's a first for me, and I'll never be able to see it. And in real
Yeah.
life, and
Someone
that's
might send
typically
you a
the way it
picture of
goes,
it.
right?
Yeah,
You,
like someone might send you a picture of it. Oh, I found it out
sure.
here in the wild. But you getting to see it, like particularly in your own neighborhood and like on
Yeah,
just your day to day, is going to be a
it's
wild
special.
experience. Yeah, that's the best.
Um,
Very cool. How did this come around to you guys? What was give us the backstory before we dive into it?
I would have forgot to explain that. I'm so glad you asked. Um,
We're pros, Mikelle. We're
I
pros.
know. Thank you. A long-time client since 2013 of MKM is a payment gateway financial fintech
Yes.
organization, and they've undergone 3 years ago a acquisition where they were bought and merged with a lump of other entity brands as the 12th. So it's large enterprise
Gotcha.
move and business America, right? So with that, I will tell you, I thought, here goes my role. They're not going to need me anymore.
Yeah.
But that ended up not being the case. What happened is that a number of employees were either terminated or decided to remove themselves from the organization. One of which was a senior manager, and his wife is the one that owns this business. He referred me, having worked with me within the organization for so many years prior, left, and he and his wife wanted to jumpstart this and take it over from a lovely gentleman named Keith, who is in his senior phase of life and has been ready to hand it off.
Gotcha.
So,
Great setup.
yeah, pretty good.
I love that. That's the way it came through you of previous experience, trust and confidence, and then a bit of a referral. Because
a bit of a referral.
yeah,
But I never worked side by side with Eric.
yeah,
He was in on presentations as like a top gun of the company to have his eyes on stuff and to provide input and decisions at the end of the day. But he wasn't my point of contact per se, but we were on together enough to get to know each other. And in fact, this is just mere coincidence. Before your days of coming on to co-host for this
yeah.
show, he was in a co-op setting for an office outside of his home because he works remotely. And he heard someone adjacent to his space say, MKM? And he goes, yeah, she's supporting our brand and our website. And that individual said, we never miss the show. We
Oh,
listen to the
wow.
show every morning. So that ended up
Great.
being just a co-op neighbor in the same building that happened to be a loyal listener at the time. Don't know the name of that individual. Don't know if they still listen.
Isn't it crazy? It's what a cool little, is that kismet? Is that the right word? Like, the idea that like, oh, you could have never planned for that, but everything just lined up in perfect order
Isn't
for
that
that to
interesting?
happen.
And so
Yeah,
Eric
that's
tells
great.
the marketing and brand manager of the organization at that time, apparently we're lucky to have Mikelle. Here's what I just
Wow.
found out. So it
I love
kind of
that.
put a little bit of a plug, shout out in for me without me having to do anything, which was kind of sweet. Yeah, a little bit sweet.
That's really good.
Really, really kind of neat. So
What was the whole process? Give me a scope of how long did it take? That all that kind of fun stuff, the details under the hood.
it kicked off in the beginning of 2024, and they had a number of students and parents that were waiting for On Target, which is the name of the brand and the company, to take off. And in the interim, a number of their competitors in the area were obtaining all of their what could have been potential students.
Oh,
So they
wow.
felt this
It's like a race.
sense of urgency.
Yeah.
And while they wanted quality, and they weren't shy about telling me, like, we won't go through rounds. We know that you put together nice work. We promise to be easy on you. When you provide your estimate proposal material, Please understand that when you say 2 rounds max, we will abide to that. Like, they were cool up front.
Wow. They've worked
But
with
then,
creative before.
when you hear a potential client say those words, there's sometimes in the back of your mind going, haha, stop shitting me. Like, don't try to be that perfect client ahead of time. I know how to deal with people. It's going to be okay, but they did end up sticking with that word and process. And it's been a lovely experience. And after the site launched, I'll have to look up the date. It was earlier this year.
Mm-hmm.
They, sometimes you have to sit with the product in order to understand the changes and benefits of additional landing pages, for example, that will be to the advantage of the company. So since then, we just worked up a couple of landing pages for
Nice.
the website. So anyway, it's not ongoing. It kind of batches every now and again.
Yeah.
You know how those accounts typically roll. But it was in the very beginning, not sure if we jump ship and shift the brand name to something other than On Target, but they wanted to remain loyal to the original founder, Keith.
Great.
So it felt comfortable for them and loyal to stick with the brand names with a massive refresh. I mean, it's beyond refresh, really. So that's part of what I get to show you today is a little bit of the before and after.
Let's do it.
Should we just dive in? Okay.
Let's go. Share away.
Nice.
I can't wait to do more of these. These are always fun.
I
because
know.
it's
it takes a little bit of massaging and time,
does.
but
Yeah.
it would be great to do more of these. And even for those that we've had on the show that might have one already set up, that would be cool.
Oh, yeah. I would almost introduce or invite anyone to be like, if you got something amazing you would love to show, and maybe it's a little bit, I like these ones that are sometimes maybe a little bit out of your comfort zone or a little bit out of your norm. Those are always the fun ones too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I agree. All right. So the whole name of the company is On Target Driving School. And so let me just touch on the brand identity firsthand.
Yeah.
That they made clear that they wanted to be focused with some Northwest nuance that's local here, which is very fun. And a part
common.
a part of my upbringing and where we reside now.
Yeah.
So it felt like personal right off the bat. This is where we started. And so you see this and you think sometimes, oh shit. We know this isn't the expectation, and good God, the before and after is going to be awesome here. Like,
Yeah.
this can't,
It's like that's your first thought, right? Like,
this can't get worse.
I'm going to wow them on that before and after page.
Isn't that interesting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What
And
was
this
your
had been around for decades.
What was your first instinct when you said like, obviously they recognized it needed a change, and that's one thing. Sometimes you get someone that's like, what's wrong with this? We want to keep it. But like, what was your first like plan of attack with this one? Just first instincts.
Well, I talked with them straight away about the idea of running concepts that are literal and potentially
Gotcha.
not literal, because this
Okay.
is straight up literal. And if
Yeah.
they're happy with that, it was going to be an issue for me personally, but I needed to understand and break down how important that was
Sure.
for them, and to maintain loyalty to Keith and to maintain loyal to the community. I mean, the Fire Engine Red is a no-no altogether. I mean, especially given that this is a driving school lesson-based organization. So everything
just
about
says
this
stop.
screamed,
Yeah. Yeah.
everything
Or
about
danger.
this screamed,
Yeah.
good
Warning.
God. Yeah.
Good God. That'd be a great slide too. Everything about this just said, good God, in quotes.
I should have put that down at the base,
Right?
Nick, rather than the before logo. Anyway, okay, so
That's that, or make a logo that looks like that but says "Good God." Oh my gosh, I love it. All right,
Lordy,
keep going.
Lordy. Okay,
Yeah.
so for sure you see top left the nuance of Pacific Northwest. I had to
Yes.
deliver something like that. And I had to maintain something upper right that was attributable to drive, target without being overly literal.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that.
And I guess you could say that to a degree about the lower left here,
Mhm.
because it has some indication of turning wheel / tire, motion. And then you can do some really fun things with iconography that is emblem logo mark based all the same.
Totally. Yeah.
And then I wanted to bring to light the idea of opacity, layers, while maintaining an arrow that was a part of the very first original concept, which
Perfect.
I did learn, by the way, tidbit, that Keith had embodied himself. He didn't
Gotcha.
hire anybody. He just did this. Now, that's like saying my dad came up with this and I would have been impressed. Like
Yeah,
before
that's
AI,
hilarious.
right? All right. So I like to do black and white so that we're not distracted by color at first go.
Totally
Um,
agree.
and I might share, here's what one of these concepts can look like. And here's just to drive home how quickly the concept changes in color after visiting these types of concepts just in lockup form. So
Yeah,
then they did narrow down straight away.
good.
The co-owner, her name's Shauna. She's lovely. She loves color. Loves it. Like she looks at this and she's like, "Oh, I want to see more color." Like she's this beautiful redhead that loves color. So while I heard that, I wanted to be careful about these teenagers that maybe don't love color.
Yeah,
That where the target audience would not appreciate it to the extent that the owner does. So this was the narrow down between these two lockup concepts that I've introduced
great.
colors. And I'm sharing how the logo mark at top left can further itself into other emblems,
Yeah, I
icons
love
that
that
are
idea.
abstract. Okay. So then they settle on this in final form. They love the
Beautiful.
color. They needed driving school to be thicker. They wanted to see it on light and dark. So I'm quickly showing how we got to final lockup form because there's so much else to
Yeah.
share with you here.
I got a question. Did they talk about, well, first, did you talk about with them dropping the LLC from
Yes.
the logo mark? Yeah, good. That's like a
because that
must.
can be
I
in the
mean,
copyright information on any given
yes.
marketing collateral item, including the website.
Yeah, keep in mind, like, talk to your clients about that, because I think I've had that time where the company had a name change that we were designing, and they had to have LLC in there for like 6 months to a year. But then legally they could take it out. So we just built
Sure.
both, which is
Okay.
awesome to do. And then the
Yeah.
other thing I noticed too is you've turned it into one word and no space, but color changing. So on and target really stand out. I love that.
Yes, they did not appreciate the all uppercase formation they did it first, and then after, sleeping on it, they decided that without it looking too juvenile and playful, that this felt more comfortable.
It's friendly and
While
then
maintaining
yeah.
driving school in all caps, which makes sense to me. There's
Perfect.
balance
Yeah.
there. They need that to have some means of echo.
Yeah,
to
on
stand
target
true.
gets to be friendly and welcoming, and then driving school gets to be a little bit more foundation solid.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So now we're just going to responsive and digital UI pieces
Yes.
straight away, okay? And let me know if I'm jumping too far forward and you feel like there's
No.
questions or material to cover in the interim.
Cool.
All right. So presentation, slide deck stuff, intro based, a font that can jive friendly with Mac and Window tools.
Yep.
And when written in live form, the O and the T remain capital letters. But
Is that more for like grammar? Is that what would be your excuse for that?
So because we can't control color in live text
Of course.
in most instances. So
it's a compromise.
these are conventional rules that we're determining pretty quickly.
Good. Love that.
And then this is just a sample of a closing slide. driving home the logo mark and sharing how gradient fade wise, how the tones can work with each other, cool and
Yeah.
warm.
I like how the logo could be placed, particularly with the angle you're using, and that's the perfect parallel to the location arrow in the logo too. So to me, I like when a logo can play as a element in your, call it layout, but it actually
Yeah.
aids to some of the visuals that you were seeing.
Yeah,
That's
no,
cool.
thank you. That's cool recognition.
Designers, let's talk about motion. We all know that a little animation can take a site from static to standout. But until now, dropping in high quality animations usually meant developer handoffs, plugin headaches, or exporting endless video files that never quite looked sharp. Well, with Wix Studio, you can bring Rive and Lottie animations right into your design. Fully vector-based, lightweight, and interactive. That means smooth, scalable animations that load fast, look crisp on any screen, and integrate seamlessly into your layouts. So picture this, your client's logo animating subtly as the page loads, icons that bounce or shift on hover, or micro interactions that guide users through a flow. These aren't gimmicks, they're purposeful touches that communicate design with movement. Here's why it matters. You don't need to touch code to make it happen. Wix Studio gives you full control over placement, the triggers, and behaviors, all in the editor. And because these are all vector animations, they're efficient and web ready out of the box. For designers who want their sites to feel alive without calling in a developer, Rive and Lottie support in Wix Studio is a total game changer. To bring your designs to life, just visit wixstudio.com.
Another thing about this logo mark that remained superior throughout the process for them is that it's Prism-esque, and there are no two students that are the same. They loved the idea
Nice.
of those depiction of layers.
Good. Love that.
All right, so social media, like they were like, we have no idea what to do. We just know the words that would be interesting to test. So playing with different backgrounds, playing with different peak arrows for target to drive home that emblem consistency, and picking a friendly, thick, weighted typeface for these
Yeah.
at large.
That's cool. It's neat to see different versions because I think as well, most designers, and tell me if you're doing this, but like I like to set them up for success with social media, but I don't want to do social media for them afterwards.
Yeah, this is advice.
Yeah,
And
like templates. It's great.
template based.
Mhm.
They don't have somebody internally that can like run with this yet, but that's the goal.
Yeah, you're giving them a complete toolkit in a way. I know I've been using like Adobe Express. Sometimes it's the client likes Canva, but you can make up
Yeah.
these locked up templates. And in fact, you can lock elements that they cannot move or shift. So
Yeah, I like that.
eliminates the chances of them going off brand or off the style guide.
Yeah,
So
while maintaining
those things
some
in mind.
control.
Yeah.
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 I love that
very,
because
very good point.
most people, if you enjoy doing it, I think it's one thing, like, but like I always feel like if it's my rates and what I'm doing after getting trying to get a bigger price tag for a lot of these identity projects, right? You've gotten them to agree to your price. And now when it comes time to social media, if it's the same amount, it's the same amount, you're doing hours. It's work, it's time. Sometimes I feel like I don't want to bill you for that. Like I'd rather you have an
know.
internal person and I'll set you up for success with some templates, and that just works out for us.
Yeah,
Mhm.
that's a very good point. And the same works internally for the work. So I might come
Totally.
up with a couple of these and I'll send it to my gal in Chicago and she'll render the 12 more samples to showcase.
That's cool. That's cool.
But just so do you see what I mean? This is Shauna, this
There she
beautiful
is.
redhead that loves color. And it's just funny. We ended up laughing because she ends up wearing one of the brand tones as a sweater this very day that
Yeah,
she asked her husband
perfect,
to take. So
Oh, no coincidence there. Your girl went shopping.
oh, isn't that funny? But I will say that prior to this portion of the project and working up social template items, we did discover that a stacked vertical lockup was necessary. And that's what this
Good.
arrangement that's what that arrangement is.
That is so smart. Like you being proactive with that too, and that gives so much more trust when a client hears you say, "Oh, you know what? Applications are showing that we do need to add a different version
How
or
else
a
do you
different
really know?
orientation."
And or prove
Exactly.
it to the client that it's a necessity.
Oh, and I think I learned it so much that now I just almost make it mandatory. It's like
Yeah, good.
I'm not going to give you just one logo. We'll give you that whole
Yeah,
collection for
right.
versatility and you name it. Because you're right, like you're going to find that needs to be in there in one case or another. Because it might be a wider orientation, and then you might have your tall 16:9 orientation.
Yeah.
You want to have all of the tools ready to go.
Otherwise, it's just sized down too much. All right.
Exactly.
So this is above the fold on their homepage.
Nice.
And it was a chance to utilize that abstract emblem design further with some transparency. They're all about the layers and opacity anyway. So it was a chance to utilize that. And they knew that they weren't going to have the time, tools, and expertise to take shots of students that can have this more of a sexy appeal.
Yeah. It's like
So
it feels lifestyle without being too scary or like, you want to make it be like, hey, we're talking about safe driving and nothing but how does the image reflect that,
yeah, y- this can be a time suck. Can we agree on that? Like you see
Hmm.
so many stock images that can potentially work
Sure.
and you start to color correct them and you play with saturation, you expand them with AI to a degree, and then you're like, okay, I've already overthought this. I think I'm just going to pick 3 of my winning after I sleep on it, after I refresh my eyes a little bit and see what they think. Because it's not
Yeah.
until you understand
Gotcha.
how they feel at first glance to further that process. And I've learned that the hard way many times.
I was gonna ask you stock photography, and then you did all those things to it. You kind of try to turn it into your own particular style, use some gen fill to kind of probably widen it if need be, right? Did you approach doing anything fully AI as far as the images as well? Did you try that
No,
out?
no,
Okay. You were able to find stock that felt like it hit the
pretty
mood.
easily, pretty
Good.
easily. I mean, it's driving, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
But knowing you had competition, knowing you had other companies ready to go and launching quickly, I think one area you can really stand out is the imagery and the lifestyle images you use. And does it have a signature vibe that will always be on target? You know what I mean?
yeah, that's a very, very good point, and something
And
that
budget is a thing there as
definitely.
well.
I
Got to
was
keep
just
that in
gonna
mind.
say, I was just gonna
Yeah.
say that might be very much worth exploring. Come next time that they're like, "Okay, we just ran numbers. We got the budget to work up something fresh again."
Yeah.
So, that would be something that I would argue in support of.
Yeah. I've been seeing because I've been talking to a ton of photographers who are leaving photography behind and going 100% AI photography. Like they're literally, it's one thing for us to use AI and there could be some controversy of like, oh, well, is a photographer losing out on the business that you would have hired for on target? But I'm
Yeah,
seeing these photographers, lifelong 20, 30-year plus
I
photographers
know.
they have learned prompting so much, and it's all their genre, it's all of their words and how to crop cinematic names and stuff. So it's amazing to see. Thank God they're doing it, because I feel like it kind of gives all of us a chance to be like, oh, I'd love to learn that.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting, just
Yeah,
something to
it
always
is.
consider.
It is. Well, it's similar to what you were pointing out a number of episodes ago about copywriters querying up appropriately and using it to their advantage all the same.
Oh, tripling their business at the
Yeah.
same time,
Yeah.
because they can do lower tier, smaller work now
Yeah.
with AI, and now only concentrate personally human on the big ones.
Yeah. I love
Great.
that. And I do want to explore that more. I think we should. Yeah.
That could be something fun for us to like
I have thought several
try it.
times about bringing a copywriter onto the show
Yeah.
to speak to this.
Oh, truly. I'd love to even find a debate. Bring
Oh,
someone who's fully on board with it
yeah.
and someone who's not. Like,
Yeah.
because like quick story, I put together a list of where I kind of feel AI is at now. And what I was realizing with is back of house stuff helping you. A lot of the stuff I showed on the Little Billy's one was like helping me have a better title for the option for the concept I was going to show. Like that to me was where it helped sell the creative so much. After that, there was AI was not used. It was more for that behind the scenes back of house stuff that a solo entrepreneur has an advantage to. And then on the cons, I was like, generative AI is not what the threat I think we all thought it was going to be. I don't know about you, but like here we are, 3 years in, and I'm still not seeing something that feels close to replacing us in any way.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. I think it's just going to be the next new tool in our tool bag, and it won't. And we get to again choose how far we want to go with it.
How we take it.
Yeah.
Yeah. How far we take
Yeah.
it.
And
Yeah.
and that could be your own personal balance of
Yeah.
that. So
Yeah.
it's interesting, because I even like here, like I think that headline is so perfect because it kind of talks to both. You're talking to both parent and student,
For sure.
right?
And
This has got to be appealing to both.
that's so cool that you pointed that out, because that needed to be conveyed and reassessed with all content.
Yeah. Is that
And
their
there are-
tagline, or is that more of a part of a language?
Part of the language, because
Gotcha.
by that same token, there are adult anxious drivers that want to test again.
Ah, that's a great one. And can I ask a question? Did you know about data? Because I'm seeing kids wait so long to get their license.
I
That's a
know. They're
little
not
bit.
They've chosen their best friend that they want to be their DD for all of their
Yeah.
adolescent phase of
or
life.
Uber.
Yeah.
Or using Uber,
Yeah.
catching rides. But I wonder,
Shauna
that's
has
got to
explained
change.
that most of the students at that teen phase that finally step in is because they're about to go to college.
There you go. See, I even have some college students that have no interest in even getting a license. It's kind of wild.
Interesting.
Yeah. And out here we were at 16 going, sign me up.
No kidding. Yeah.
Where do I sign?
ASAP. Yeah.
Cool.
The permit was just so exciting all on its own. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is below the fold. This was a chance to
Ooh, love that.
share with the owners. Listen, we have a chance to run a carousel and feature real life students of yours.
Yes.
And let's grayscale them, high contrast them all, so we're not worried about competing with the massive coloration that we have with the brand, and just run with their first names, get their picture the day one or day two that they step in and are a part of your team and the journey itself.
Killer. Love that. What's neat too? You would think the cliche would be to have all these like car driving elements and things, but the fresh kind of more like we're your partner in making sure your kids are safe. That's where you go. I mean, I'm sure you probably were like, did you have any conversations, no pun intended, steering them away from the automotive?
The reason this works is because friends, acquaintances will see the familiarity in the community. Parents sometimes don't even share this website with their children. They're out to
You're
maintain
and
yep.
No
and
question.
They see the familiar faces that look like their children or friends of their children, and it's a quick
that's so
way
cool.
to leverage. Yeah.
Love that. Yeah. Again, doing something different, going against the grain, but still being true to everything you have in your brief. Yeah.
Real-time approachable. Okay. So this is also something that none of their competitors have. And I know that this is high detail, and it's okay to not be able to read all of the items here. This is an infographic about step 1, if you're at this phase of your life, step 2, if you're at this phase in the lesson process or age-wise in your life. And it is a full, like very long PDF hosted on their site that's interactive, that points to respective landing pages throughout the website and contact means throughout the website,
Nice.
just the same.
These are so important. Giving them a visual map of how the process works.
I'm telling you,
is
parents,
so cool.
parents are the ones that need to see this.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh, they're like, show me the way.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
It's helped. It's helped a lot. All right.
Very
so
cool.
yeah, sorry but it's very lengthy. So I thought, okay, might as well show side by side of the entire process. All right. So Apple location and Google Map location mock-ups to showcase the logo mark standing alone, some imagery that feeds the business, and a chance to visit photos, legitimize cost, distance, ratings of reviews, and so forth.
Nice. That's really cool. Love how clean it is. And yet, what's neat too is like there's a consistency of like almost some of those ones with the camera over the shoulder looking at the road ahead. There's almost like a subliminal thing there that like we're looking over your driver.
Yeah, isn't that fun? So Shauna decided to get in back of one of her instructors and a driver and take shots so that she could send me these. And this is inside one of their classrooms too. So I was able with the iPhone to take and brighten and utilize some shots that she was sending me just the same, which was great. And minimizes my searching on stock.
There you go. and no rights or have to worry about.
No, exactly. Yeah.
Do we have the rights to use this?
So this is where they can log in for access, and might as well utilize the brand and the full coloration spectrum to drive home the visuals.
That's great. I like to master the road with confidence as well. Like all these little things are just, I was going to say gearing up. another
I know you said steering before. You're all over that today. I love it.
But it's great when it continually hits with confidence, with clarity, with everything's going to be okay. Like, I mean, you really have to take that into consideration for something like this. You're asking them to pay for something that's going to be a benefit and a safety thing to their kids.
No doubt.
But you can't be, and you can't be like, oh, what's the word? You still got to be strong and confident. It can't be like weak and like soft in any way,
I'm looking at this and I'm recalling, because it was a while back, that I wasn't sure whether to hesitate with all these overlays and transparency, remembering a part of the brand identity process is what they loved so much about this lockup arrangement. If it would be too much and if I needed to balance it with more solid tones, but they just can't get enough of these overlays and the transparency approach altogether. So that was kind of fun knowing that to drive home further.
Great. And trust me, when it gets too much, they'll let you know.
Oh, yeah. And it's true. They will. All right. So further mock-up applications. This was so much fun, and we had to shift the driving school to be more loud, stack that, and run it as a wrap decal piece over crease and opening instances across the vehicle.
Now, was this a car that they had chosen?
Instructional cars. They do the Nissan Versas.
They have the Nissan Versa. I know that one well. It's very chiseled, and it's like you're like now they're probably like, oh, we should have just chose something that was a little more flat.
I know. No, they were super amped about this, and it was a chance to do something not so like edge to edge, buttoned up, tidy, like pulling. Do you see the angle that this is at a little bit?
It goes with the angle of the car.
They were okay with it. They were fine with it. It was nice. It was refreshing to work with this client in that regard, because a lot of other clients, I'm sure you can agree, would see this as like, oh God, that's so loud and edgy. I don't know if we can do that, know, but they weren't shy about it. They weren't feeling like they had to be, locked in a bin and confined to a degree with their brand. So it made it fun.
Were there discussions of budget? Because I know with car wrap, you could do something very simple and inexpensive, and the minute it goes to more of a full wrap, you're talking like $5,000. So thankfully we explored both,
and we were able to run decal for this without doing the wrap because separate entities had to go at the back of the car.
Yes.
So it just made sense to run them
Cool.
separately.
Cool. Did you, I was going to say on a darker car, it really, I mean,
It helps
obviously
it pop.
pops. Did you ever think, if you go back to the previous one,
Yeah.
did you ever think of having an alternative logo where the locator, the arrow that's within your logo, instead of being white transparent, it's almost like black transparent? Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
instead of it being a lighter version of all the colors behind it, it's actually a darker version of all the colors behind it.
I didn't run that for them. I could
Yeah.
have, but Shauna is so much more on the less saturated end than the
Good.
more saturated end for this instance, because you
Yeah.
can see how a lot of the UI layouts that I work with for the responsive digital experiences are on saturated backdrop. But this had more of this probably for her, like I'm speaking for her, which I shouldn't do. That would have felt like a no for me.
Okay. Gotcha.
And it's not to say she's light and fluffy with everything. She's also an interior designer on top of what she does. And I requested that she show me a number of pieces of her work with her clientele.
Oh, good.
Not necessarily to understand, because she is abiding to her clientele all the same. But some projects she might have recommendations of her own. So it would give me a chance to visit what those might be.
Yeah, I gotcha. Will they be consistent with because there's like a black Toyota, right? Do they switch off sometimes? Do they have
Only
to be on
those
different cars?
two.
Okay, gotcha.
And for now, maybe come
Oh.
2026 they'll decide to get a Mazda in there.
Yeah, gotcha. And I'm sure it's all based on fleet cost and what they
But
can
with
get.
this decal vendor, they had all the model specs. Like they have to have all of the model
Yes.
specs and work with the automobile. Yeah, it was
God
pretty
bless those
interesting
people,
experience.
man.
No doubt.
They've saved the day so many times by having the exact template for the car, make, model, year that your client has.
Yeah.
It's fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, what
That looks great.
what an industry.
That's cool.
All right, so running sticker pieces for the backside in the event that you are undergoing training or have completed it. Like you've graduated, you're off and running, you want to be able to showcase that. I mean, this might be, to be fair and completely truthful, a purchase on the parent's part and not the
Sure.
child's.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, you want this car, kid? You're getting an on target sticker.
That's funny. That's a funny way to get. Okay, so other instances where the stacked arrangement lends itself nicely with some other mock-up application pieces.
Oh,
like
yeah,
this.
for sure.
Yeah, where
That
it's
was
not
great.
as friendly to be the primary horizontal lockup. Same with these.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
so fun
the
and
stacked
kind of
works better.
friendly, confident, all the things it like really needs to be. And you're changing. It's always funny because like you're changing the conversation from a very serious kind of, truly what the meaning and the company is doing is very serious. And then enlightening it and giving it a little bit more of this like friendly approach is probably putting the parent at ease and willing to, hit click buy purchase when need be,
Yeah, that's
That's
true.
cool.
That's very true. And some of these pieces could be applicable for a student that has their license is done and it's a leave behind.
Yeah.
I can see that being very appealing.
Yeah. And you got to make it cool enough that a student wants to, like, I'm imagining being 16. If my parents put me through this or whatever, I'd be like, I'm not putting no damn sticker or wearing a hat.
I would
Whatever.
have been
So
the
like,
same.
you got it. So in some cases, it might be fun to like spin it and be like, I survived driving school onto,
That's
and
interesting.
it's more statements and call to actions that the kids, what would the kids say? And then like brought to you by On Target, like happy child brought to you by, and then stuff for the parents, right? I could sleep at night thanks to On Target driving school.
Yeah, for sure. And that was one of the things that was mentioned at kickoff. It's got to they wanted it to be lively but
Yeah.
cool. It has to be cool.
Yes. I know. And that's a tough one for some of these industries that we get to touch, you know?
I know it
It's
is.
got to be. That's cool. I love that. Oh yeah, got to put those in.
So I can see items like this being a leave behind for a student. That's
Yeah.
applicable,
Yeah.
right?
Or even sign on for you get a little kit when you sign up, you know.
Yeah.
And maybe one thing's geared to the kids, one thing's geared to the parents, whatever you want to do.
Yeah.
It's so neat planning for two totally different demographics that come together in one purchase. Like there's not a lot of things I would say that, you know, it's always something that the parent has to obviously approve because they're purchasing it, you know,
hmm
but the kid has to be like, it's still cool and I'm okay with this.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that's a hard sell.
It is. That's a challenge, but a really fun one. A really
It
fun
is.
challenge.
If you're up for it, like
Yeah, for sure.
that's the best, you know?
You know, another thing, this is the end of it here. The other thing that I forgot to mention that's really neat for me as a part of this story is that Shauna herself is a mother of 4.
Yeah.
And her oldest have have just obtained their permit and have just obtained their license.
Wow.
2 of them.
So
she can
meaningful.
speak to the community about what is important as a parent herself,
Yeah.
knowing the copy content to definitely throw in for SEO purposes and otherwise.
Yeah. There's heart in there
Heart.
because of her. You know what I mean? And you could say the same thing for you, you know, because it's like, I mean, everyone's going to go through this at some point. And I've been hearing too, like, were there stats that you found that were maybe about this industry that were a little bit shocking? Like, I've been hearing like schools are cutting back on this, and so much of it is now in the hands of the parent to have to do themselves.
I don't know the stats on that right now. But news that was just shared with me from this husband and wife team
Mm-hmm.
is that business is going so well, they're opening up a new location.
Oh, that's all you need to know right there. Yeah. You know, peace of mind. Like it's all those things that you just know when you're selling to a parent about their kids. You know, the words are just going to, those
Nothing
phrases
else
are going to come,
matters.
right?
And everything
Yeah.
else is eggshells.
Yeah. Is this where you want to really, you know, like find the bargain brand? No.
Yeah, no. Yeah, safety,
That's great.
the livelihood of the children, the safety net of the children. Yeah.
Yeah. What was the biggest learning lesson of this project for you?
Oh my gosh. So
Might be a few, because again, it's
there
like
it's
so relevant.
it's quite the study for me just the same. I I, I knew that. All right. So this was a challenge and so eye-opening for me.
Yeah.
Shauna sends me, I'm sure you get these text messages from a client that are like, I just came across this website for hair product, and they want to know from any given website user hair length, hair coarseness or softness, at what their goals are for their hair. And so you follow this personalized quiz process on their website, and they have a recommendation of style, treatment, ongoing care, and product line to purchase based on that. So Sean is like, we're happy to pay you more. We need this as a
Wow.
part of our website. I need
Good.
parents and our students to be able to go onto the website and
Yeah.
start their own individualized quiz process based on the stage of life that they're at. If they already have their permit and they don't know what goes next, if they've already obtained something, look at these balloons.
Look at I wonder what you did to make it do that. That's great.
I don't know.
We're
I was
learning
just-
our podcast software
Yeah.
as we record, guys.
I know. If they've already obtained first phase of lesson from a competitor and now have shifted and have come into On Target for the remainder of their schooling to obtain their permit and or driver's license. So tons of case scenarios. That sub project to the website was intense.
Wow. I bet.
Intense.
That's
mean-
cool. Would you find is there anything you would do differently now that it's done? And it could be just something behind the scenes. It could have been like, just, you know what I mean? Because I love learning with every project. There's no doubt I'm gonna write down something and be like, do that next time.
Yeah,
What
these
do you
are
got?
awesome open-ended questions that I was not prepared for. But
I got another one brewing too. It's gonna be good.
no, you sound like my dad. He's this way so much with his thorough
Hmm.
questions. Um, something that I would have done differently. I know that I spent too much time on the website altogether.
Okay.
And you know how that goes. Like, do you share? You don't share. You
No,
just take it
no.
take it
You just
under
do it.
this. Yeah,
You
you
just
just
do it.
take care
Yeah.
of it.
Okay.
Um, now I have other creative friends and community network individuals that I'm in contact with that think that honesty is the best policy at all realms, and to share all of those nuances just the same. I don't. There's some things that I bite and keep under my tongue.
Yeah.
There's areas that I don't. If it's about furthering the client relationship and um or talking with a designer that's supporting the project so that he or she knows, here's what I did, here's what I learned, heads up. Don't find
Hmm.
yourself in a cave where you end up doing that way. And if you do, let me know. Um so that we can crank it out together or brainstorm together about how to take it over the finish line. But I mean, Jason and I will have these conversations where it'll be like, put an hour toward it and be done. And it's so much easier to say that. I'm a perfectionist. We like things polished. Having reviewed some of these pieces to put together this case study item all together, I would prepare lockups differently at phase 1. But
Of
that's
course.
the life of a designer. That's just the way it goes. I mean, but we may not know now after the site has launched what we knew way prior to the site launching.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's hard to voice and to understand in hindsight at early phasing what you would have done differently.
Hmm.
The hand holding was intense though, and that's one of my favorite parts about being a designer, was seeing these projects through from starting at A and launching a site being like the Z. There's so many cohesive family parts to this unit, and having your hands on each of the touch points is one of the most gratifying experiences for me.
That's
I
cool.
know that you feel that way.
Oh,
It's so wonderful.
it's cool. I think when you said too, like the hand holding, most people would be like, "Oh, I got a hand hold." It's like, no, no, no. When we get to do that, I think that helps us out tremendously. That tells me you have a client that understands their role and they understand your role,
And
and
that you're
they
not
need that.
just that you're not a graphic
Or
designer.
pixel pusher.
Yeah,
I
that
always
you
call it.
are a
Like, yeah,
consultant.
yeah,
You're a
yes,
brand consultant, you're a UI consultant, you're a bring it to life consultant. Yeah.
yeah. Do you think you'll use this for like? Does it because sounds like to me when you get into something that is a bit of a niche industry that maybe a lot of other designers haven't been able to touch because it's such a unique opportunity to do like what you did. Do you think you'll use it for case study, testimonial to maybe broaden into other potential new clients? Because
I
it's like
love
it
that
feels like
question. I'm
feels like it
not
opened the door.
you are, I will say that most obviously you're far more of that demeanor than I have ever been. You are. It's one of the qualities about you that I just love and appreciate so much. It's something that to be very frank and upfront, it's something that we don't have in common. I
Mhm.
don't mean to Easter egg and showcase something to catch somebody's eye in a
Yeah,
manipulative sense or anything. It's just that, well, a big part of it being bandwidth and time.
of
Like
course.
as a
Yeah.
mom is a big part of that. But um I will share this with Shauna and Eric and my some family members, and I probably will just keep it at that. You
Yeah.
know, like,
Yeah.
however, I do have that proposal piece that you helped me jumpstart because you had inspiration for me to as some guidance. That was years
Yeah.
ago, wasn't it? And
Yeah, I believe
from
so.
from that, it's a PDF hosted from the website that perhaps can have a accessible link to this case study for a potential client to understand that you sure as shit know the process start to finish.
Oh, you want to
This
give that
conveys it.
right? Yes,
Your
exactly.
restaurant PDF conveys that. Now I have some areas where I push the brakes heavily on that because is it sharing too much? Is it
Of course. It should always be, it should never go into like the secret sauce details. It should just be a certain level of what it's like to work with us and confidence, maybe a testimonial, things like that. I would agree with, but you're right. You don't sharing too much is like you're giving everything away.
yeah. If
But
there's a prospect that wants to hire somebody and it's between you and one other and maybe the other is an agency and you got to spit something like this up for them to look at, that's different.
Yeah.
After most likely having a number of conversations with that organization, that to that end I would be comfortable sharing this type of PDF
Mhm.
piece.
What even what's I find pretty cool is sharing it in like a LinkedIn kind of post that's like MKM proudly announces the launch of this, what we did, almost celebratory. Like if you take that route, I feel like it's not you going, this is salesy and I'm actively seeking new people in new industries just like this. It's not in that vein.
It's just
it's just sell
look
and
at what
it's getting the word out.
Look at what has been accomplished and proud to be a part of the journey myself type of thing.
Yes.
Understood.
Yeah.
That
I
feels
will,
far more appropriate for me personally than look at me. This is what I can do. Portfolio.
exactly. I will tell you that like just out of sharing the Little Billies on the podcast and a lot on LinkedIn, funny things happened. So a person went in there.
You're going to talk me into publishing it then.
Oh,
now
hell
with
yeah.
the story.
A person went in, had a great experience, went on Yelp and wrote a review and said, I'd heard of this place from a podcast I listened to.
Oh my gosh.
And the designer, Nick Longo, walked us through the process, and I'm like, I'm close by. I have to check this out. And it's like, he was not wrong. These are, and gave this glowing, beautiful review of the store, the restaurant, the food specifically. Because I'm telling you, Mikelle, their pancakes I drool over them.
Do you know if
they were
he ordered
closer?
that?
If they were closer to me, I'd be there every day. You know what I mean? It's like a good hour and a half drive. But that was wonderful, right? And then they shared it on their Instagram and tagged me. And I think I just love that. I just love that back and forth, And so she's sharing this with me, and I was so excited. I wrote her back. Then the next day, she writes me and she sends me a picture, and she says, buckle up. Your logo has our favorite fan, our best customer, has gotten a tattoo of the Little Billy logo. And I was like, are you kidding? I've reached the club. Like, that was the coolest thing in the world. Can you believe that?
That's beyond cool. I use the word gratifying. That for you, that had to have felt like ridiculously cool. But
I thought it was fake, but yeah, there it is.
What part of the body is that?
She did it on the side, like right here. And then I even said, I don't believe you. And then she asked the girl, and she sent video of it happening.
People are crazy. Honestly, that's kind of messed up.
Look, I get it. Yeah, I know. I'm like, it's like, I was like, what brand am I that loyal to that I would have like, no, there's nothing, right? But it's a different.
I
It's
don't
a
even know if
total,
I would do
that
Adobe on my skin anywhere.
no, I know. Yeah, exactly. Oh, the TGDC. We're gonna have to do the original deeply graphic like logo type that Wes did. That would
Octopus
be
thingy.
amazing. The octopus thing. So then that happened, and then yesterday, Behance from Adobe, because I place all of my work on Behance too. They made it a spotlight project, and I posted it, and my client saw it, and they saw increase in everything, activity on their account, their Instagram, their website. So that's a thing I can't bolster by myself. I don't have those kinds of numbers, but when someone does highlight it, that would. So like, I think that advantage, and you sound like you have that same relationship with this owner
They're
as what I got,
and
I'm
then slash friends. Yeah.
oh, it's
Yeah.
it's like,
Isn't it?
what an interesting thing. We're each helping each other out
I know.
based on the attention or something that happened. And I find it to be organic and real because it's you celebrating it. And what could happen, not just for your business, but for them, is a pretty decent thing. And I think that's why we're doing this all
Yeah.
the time. You know, you should
That's
just
an amazing
like,
story.
take yourself a few highlights from that PDF and just a beautiful written paragraph, put it on LinkedIn. And again, that's what we're supposed to be doing with, I think, I don't want to say we should, because it's like, if you're doing great and you're not doing any self-marketing, more power to you. You're obviously killing it. But I love putting that out there because it's just, it makes me feel happy that they're happy and that took it to a whole other level. And it's been 7-8 months since we've been done. So that it's still living is great.
Yeah.
I don't want to give that up. Yeah.
That's just
Pretty sick.
So intensely
love it.
cool.
I
Yeah,
love
I
it.
might
It
pick
was
your
perfect.
brain
It was like
offline
perfect timing
about
when
the little tidbits and have you send me
Mhm.
the link of that story that you shared on LinkedIn to understand.
Yeah. It's fun because I think it gives you another chance. I know it's such a time consuming thing now. I'm assuming you're going to make that a case study or you're going to throw it on your website eventually, right?
Mhm.
In there. The fact that you could just take a few of the assets that you already created for the pitch
Yeah.
and upload 4, write a paragraph, tag your company, and just put it on LinkedIn and see what happens. And I think that's where I'm seeing other designers do that as well, is becoming this new way of going like, hey, instead of having to like scour the internet for
Do you
new
run it
projects
by
and
them and
whatever.
say, here's what I'm thinking about posting. Are you cool with it?
That's a good question.
Or do you
I
just
think I'm
assume it will
usually
be
it's
appreciative?
welcomed. It's welcomed. Yeah. If I have any doubt, yes, I would probably double check with them in a way. Yeah, for sure. But I haven't felt that need. It's just been more like, I think I bring it up in like conversation when we're ending the project. I'm like, oh, I can't wait to promote the hell
Yeah.
out of this for you guys.
And then
that's
they're
when
not
they go,
shocked when they see it.
yes. Mm,
Yeah. Oh, this is what Nick was
exactly.
talking about. Yep.
There you go. So very cool.
Yeah.
Well, that was
You
awesome.
handle that
Thanks for
also
taking us
well.
through that.
Oh,
That was
my
awesome.
pleasure.
We're gonna
My
do more
pleasure.
of this, and again, we'd love to I'll find some way to put some kind of little request thing that if you, the listener, have something you're super proud of and you've created something
Yeah.
and your client is cool with you sharing it with us, we will open up the airwaves for you. So send it our way. I'll find something. I'll probably have a link in the description notes here. If you're doing it on YouTube or that'll be there as well. But if you're doing it in Spotify or podcast, we'll put a clickable link down below for maybe
Good.
like a
That's
submission
pretty
form.
sweet.
And just have a URL or something ready that you can share with us. And that way we could be like, yeah, let's do it. That'd be fun.
Really fun. I can't get enough
Cool.
of these.
I know. That's
Case
what we live
studies.
for.
Yeah, I know. They're stories. It's the
Another
journey.
Another fun note. I met a listener of the podcast in Tulsa, Oklahoma yesterday.
You did?
Yeah, and he was like, I've been listening for years, and he brought up a few really cool mentions of some of the episodes back with you, me, and Wes, and it was so funny. I
Aw.
was like, oh my gosh, that is amazing to hear. So
Aw.
I always love your Australia story as well. So it's kind of
Melbourne.
like
I'm
Isn't
without a
that-
bra
oh, yeah.
on. That was a little
so-
bit
yeah.
more on the
With a
embarrassing.
bunch of liquor in hand.
Yeah, I was leaving the liquor store. Yep.
It's like true Mikelle on
Oh,
brand.
God.
All right. Well, that was great. And have a great weekend for sure.
Yeah, you too.
And we'll
Thanks
catch you guys
for
later.
running your coffee nap for me.
Yes. Try it. If you didn't hear that, go back to the beginning.
I know. I'm going
Bye,
to. I'm
guys.
going to keep it in mind.